So many owners ask me what is better, exclusive listing or non-exclusive listing. In this video we're gonna dive deep what is best and why. What are the risks of a non-exclusive? What are the benefits? What are the risks of an exclusive? I mean, this kind of stuff are obvious to agents, but so few people talk about it. After watching this video, you should come up perfectly understanding how the Marbella market operates, how to do it, what to expect, and what's going to be the process. No convincing, no pushing from our side, just clear and transparent information on this very important subject. So first, let me give you context about how the Marbella market operates. In Marbella, Estepona, Benahavís, that's our areas of expertise, you will find around 20 established agencies with team of plus 10 people. Then there are about 100 smaller agencies, team of 3 to 10 people. And finally, there are hundreds of micro agencies and independent agents. Some agents work with solid systems, and others rely on purely personal connections without any established processes. Marbella is an open market, it's not regulated and very dynamic, and functions through a shared listing system, meaning any agent can show any property with no additional effect on fees if more than one agency is participating. You see, over the last 20 years, our high-end market was about 95% listings non-exclusives and 5% exclusives. This has been changing over the years, especially in the last 5 years. And each year, more and more owners are choosing an exclusive contract, shifting the percentage significantly. I would guess around 80% being non-exclusive and 20% being exclusive. So today, there are more exclusives than ever, which in theory provides a heavy load of additional work, but the real estate companies, I believe, haven't fully adapted. Most agencies haven't increased their team size or changed their processes, therefore possibly the service might suffer. And one way to improve the service is to make clients more aware of what to expect. As an example, at Drumelia we manage around 400 listings, but usually fewer than 20 of them are exclusive. Of course, many agencies love exclusives because it builds their portfolio, a pipeline of possible income, so it's a pitch that you will hear very often nowadays. And if you live abroad or just want someone to manage the visits, an exclusive listing is a big relief. But the real reason to choose an exclusivity should never be just to avoid the coordination headache. So to give you as much information as possible to prepare you for the right decisions, let's analyze the logic, the benefits, and the risks of both scenarios. Starting with the logic. Both types of listings, exclusive and non-exclusive, operate on a no sale, no fee basis. No matter what the effort is placed, how many clients are brought to the property, if it doesn't sell, the agency earns nothing. So this places a serious challenge on the real estate companies to invest significant money, time, and efforts into the sale of these properties. An non-exclusive listing means the same property is listed by owners with many agents. The amount depends on you. It can be 3 to 4 agencies or even sometimes 10. Rarely I see more than 10 agencies though. And an exclusive listing means that the owner lists the property with only one agency and depends on that agency to involve all the other real estate companies. And even though both are no win, no fee, with an exclusive, the agency has a theoretical guarantee that if the property sells, no matter who sells it, the agency makes money. So technically, this guarantee should also mean that more resources and efforts are placed in the sale. But in any case, owners naturally expect agents to work hard for their property. But when an agent handles hundreds of non-exclusive listings with no guaranteed income, it's impossible to push each one of those consistently and constantly. So here's where I would like to introduce the basic logical difference. In a non-exclusive, expect a passive sale, but in an exclusive, you should expect an active sale. And why passive and active, and what I mean by that? Well, as we are talking logic, if we remember that most agencies are teams of 3 to 20 people, whilst handling hundreds of listings with no upfront payments, no company can give an active level of effort to hundreds of listings. There's just not enough people, and it's impossible from a time perspective or from a financial perspective. So most non-exclusive listings have a passive sale approach. That means they're being uploaded to the website or portals, and then the agency waits for calls and reacts when the interest appears. That's what I call the passive sale. Once interest dissipates, the agency goes back to waiting mode until new interest appears. Again, please bear in mind, I'm trying to simplify things. It is a bit more complicated than that, but overall, it's how it works. Therefore, logically, the exclusive listing should have an active sales approach. The agency should actively create new sales interest and not just rely on the interest that comes automatically through the door. And believe me, this is easier said than done. A real estate agency acting exclusively will only provide true value to an owner if it's able to create new, additional sales interest to a specific property apart from the interest that comes automatically through daily routines. That was a pretty cool quote. So let's move on over to the benefits and risks. And overall, you will see that an exclusive listing brings more benefits but also more risks, while a non-exclusive has fewer benefits but also fewer risks. That's kind of the logic. But let's get into detail so you get a clear picture. By choosing an exclusive agency, what are the benefits? Well, first of all, the company invests more time and resources because it is guaranteed to be part of the sale if the sale occurs. You should get more engagement from the collaboration network of the exclusive agency, because a solid agency has a network of hundreds of agents with whom the exclusive agency should be actively promoting your property. Coordination of your sale goes through one team, one marketing, one sales channel, one strategy, one unified message, which means less stress and less time investment from the owners. Usually you get higher quality marketing material and more marketing actions. Also, an exclusive agent should control over exposure of your property and avoid it. Structured feedback from one source, direct fast communication, these are musts. Same like a monthly detailed report on viewings, feedback, marketing results, inquiries, and upcoming actions. This should be a requirement from owners in an exclusive contract to have certain control and confidence through the process so that it makes easier for you to make the right decision when that time comes. And most importantly, you should be getting a more active sales approach from the team. The goal must shift to real activity, new marketing, new calls, new campaigns. There's no real recipe for success. It's not one open house, it's not one YouTube video, it's not 10 mailings, not 100 calls. Success in exclusives comes from doing everything continuously and building the momentum. The active sale is where I believe lies the success of an exclusive listing, and this part I think is very particular to the know-hows and customs of each agency, and can significantly differ in the quality of services provided due to the size of teams, level of established processes, agency's own fast or slow adaptive environment, the discipline and motivation of the teams, and also the out-of-the-box thinking. Here is where lies the success of an exclusive contract. And now to the risks of an exclusive agency. The risks that you are tied to one company for a long time. Usually the contracts are for 1 year. If not sold over the exclusive, switching agency usually only hurts the property exposure further unless the new agency does really a drastically different job. If the agency doesn't deliver, basically you're stuck. If they don't provide an active sale, everything starts moving slowly, and eventually the only solution is to start reducing the price. Some agencies are also hungry for exclusive listings, and they can overpromise and give overpriced valuation to convince you to sign exclusive. Maybe, as an example, your property is worth 6 million, but the agency will pitch you a 7 million valuation or even an 8 million valuation. Then you sign the exclusive, and then 3-6 months later, you're offered to drop the price to 6 million or start accepting very low offers. And coming on the market overpriced kills all the momentum and all the efforts done through the next months. So the valuation is extremely important. Generally, the risk of an exclusive listing is hidden in every benefit of an exclusive listing, because eventually all the processes described as benefits of an exclusive listing are completely internal to the company, and you have very little control over it. So the main risk is that the agency you choose will deliver on their plan, on their promises, on the active sales. So it does come down significantly to choosing the right company to mitigate the risk of an exclusive contract. And now let's move on to talk about what are the benefits of a non-exclusive agency. The main benefits is the flexibility that it gives you. You are not committed to an agency, not to the number of agencies that you choose to work with. You should be able to cancel the contract with an agency at any time without any penalties if you don't like how they work. You can also explore different price valuations you get from different agencies, and that way you get much more insight to the right price strategy. Even though I must point out that generally, the majority of agencies, we struggle with correct price valuations. So important to keep that in mind. By working with different agencies, you will gain different know-hows and different approaches to the sale process, which can benefit you. Once you learn further from the processes, you can include additional agencies to list your property as well. And lastly, even though this is not a rule, but overall on average, the non-exclusive listing is going to be slightly cheaper for the owner. And now let's move on to the risk of a non-exclusive listing. So the risks. Over time, due to the passive sale approach, you have the risk of being forgotten amongst so many non-exclusive listings that one agency has together with new priorities that occur. So keeping an active communication from your side with the agency is going to be crucial. On a general note, I have seen also more unprofessional behavior in non-exclusive listings. I mean, this is a very generic comment, but basically, if there's no one structured process, no control, and different agencies are doing different things, it can lead to unforeseen situations that may rarely harm the property. Overexposure sometimes can happen in unprofessional channels. Also, bad marketing materials a possibility, even though I must say nowadays it's less and less of an issue. Almost everyone is able to produce very decent marketing material. But generally, less investment is made in your marketing. Also, funny enough, you get, I believe, less results from the general agent network. If you're dealing with 10 different agencies on a non-exclusive basis, because of the passive approach, they are far less invested in involving the agent network in the sale. So usually an exclusive agency will bring you far more viewings from their network of agents than 10 non-exclusive agents. And little feedback is always a pain point for owners and a massive space for improvement for all of us agents. So to finalize, should you go exclusive or not, it really depends on your property, your situation, and your level of involvement and level of trust that you are prepared to place in the company. For example, at Drumelia, we don't push into exclusivity. We believe in both models. And an exclusivity is a big responsibility, so we want to make it right. After 15 years in business, I've seen owners succeed both ways and fail both ways. The key difference lies in the level of engagement among the agents at the end of the day. But if you ever want an honest conversation about your property, even just advice, my team and I are always happy to share our perspective. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was valuable for you.